Let's do a couple of examples of checking for divisibility. Now for this chart, I've color-coded some things. 2, 5, and 10 are in red because that's my last digit rule. I'm only going to look at the last digit. So in our numbers, 27,006, 15,005, and 9,380, I'm just looking at that last digit, which is why I highlighted it red. For 3 and 9, those are the sums of the digits ones. So I like to circle those. And then in that circle that you see on the left there, I'm going to put the sum. When I add it all up, I'm going to put that in that circle. And then finally, the 6 is purple because when I put 2 and 3 together, I'm going to get purple. 2 and 3, if they're both divisible by 2 and by 3, then we know it'll be divisible by 6. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with 2, 5, and 10. So I looked at 27,000. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this number here, the 27,006. And I look at that last digit, the 6. And what I see is that it's an even number. So I know it's divisible by 2. It's not divisible by 5 because it doesn't end in a 0 or a 5. And it's not a 10 because it doesn't end in 10. Now what I need to do is I'm going to add up my digits because I'm going to check for 3 and 9. 2 plus 7 is 9, plus 6 more is 15. Now 15 is a multiple of 3, so it's divisible by 3. 15 is not a multiple of 9, so it's not divisible by 9. Finally, I'm going to take a look at 6. Since it is divisible by 2 and by 3, I know it is divisible by 6. Now I'm going to do the same thing with my next number, 15,005. And again, I'm going to check 2, 5, and 10 first. Well, it ends in that 5, so it's not divisible by 2. But since it ends in a 5, it is divisible by 5. Since it does not end in a 0, it's not divisible by 10. I will leave that blank. Now I need to add up my digits, because that's how I check for 3 and 9. Remember that. 1 plus 5 is 6, plus 5 more is 11. 11 is not a multiple of 3. It is not a multiple of 9, so it's not divisible by 3 or by 9. And then finally, I can check for 6, which I've already done, because it's not divisible by 2 or 3, so it is not divisible by 6. Finally, I'm going to take a look at my last number, 9,380. I start with 2, 5, and 10 again, looking at that last digit. Well, it's a 0. That's even. 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. That's divisible by 5 because it ends in a 0, and it's divisible by 10. Next thing I need to do is I'm going to check for divisibility by 3 and by 9. Well, 9 and 3 is 12, and 12 plus 8 is 20. 20 is not a multiple of 3, so I'm not going to check off 3. It's not a multiple of 9, so I'm not going to check off 9. And then finally, when I check for 6, it's not 2 and 3, so it's not 6. That's how I can check divisibility. Now, one last thing I can do when I am doing divisibility is I can try to make a number. Let's say I decide I want to make a number that's going to be divisible by 2, 3, and 10. Well, what I want to do is I want to look at what I know about the rules. Well, 2 and 10 are last digit rules. This one needs to be even, but here we need it to be a 0. And let's say it's going to be a 4-digit number. Well, I know I need 4 digits, so I'm going to go into the thousands. Well, I know it has to end in a 0. And that's also going to check off the divisible by 2 part. So I've taken care of those. The next thing I need to do is make it divisible by 3. Well, remember, with 3, I'm thinking the sum of the digits. So I need these 3 digits to add up to a multiple of 3. I'm going to choose 6, just for showing you. So let's say I put a 4 here. Well, I need 2 more. I could put a 1 and a 1. because 4 plus 1 plus 1 plus 0 equals 6. Now I also could have done 4, 2, 0, 0, because 4 plus 2 equals 6. Or I could have done 4, 0, 2, 0. The only thing that has to be where it is that 0. Always has to be there. So those are different ways of taking a look at our divisibility rules.